Saw Kalani's wearing a new sleeve and brace around her knee. How is she feeling?
Uh, I'm not sure. I haven't seen that.
Coach, good to see you once again. So tonight, the New York Liberty will be without Sabrina Ionescu, but they will also have Jonko Jones and Natasha Cloud. Especially, they were both listed as questionable. I'm just curious to know what is the Mercury's defensive game plan for tonight.
Yeah, I think we just gotta compete like we've competed all year at the defensive end. Um, I the good thing and crazy thing about this league is every night it changes, right? They've dealt with injuries, we've dealt with injuries, and uh, Sandy has a system. She does a hell of a job. They do a great job of moving it side to side. So, we've focused on everyone was going to be out there tonight. Obviously, them not having Sabrina is going to kind of change our approach on some things, but our team is going to be ready.
Speaking of John Quills, going off of Aya's point, I think the last time you guys played New York, she wasn't in the lineup. Just curious for you, how do you see how she balances out what they do, what New York does on the offensive and defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, she's got great size. She stretches the floor, right? She kind of puts Mac in some positions defensively where, it doesn't feel as comfortable for Mac just because she does such a good job of stretching the floor. And so, and just her shooting ability, you have to be close because she's got such a high release. And yeah, and then defensively, she's big at the rim.
Dave, when you look at a defense like New York's, and you look at your personnel offensively, how much value does it give you having players like Monique and Kalia? Really, honestly, all of your top three players that can just put the ball in the deck and go get a paint touch.
Yeah, it's huge. We always talk about having or making the first domino fall, right? And so New York has been aggressive against Mo, especially in the middle of the floor, with a blitz or a trap. And we like playing in the middle of the floor. The challenge is just trying to get it to AT, and now we're playing 4-on-3 behind. Um, I don't think Ka has had her best game yet against New York, but just the force that she's had rewatching our games against them the last couple days, she hasn't finished at the rim against them like we know she can. But yeah, just having that pop getting downhill is huge.
She's 18 is 33 and she's been in the decade, or she's been in the WNBA for more than a decade at this point.
Yeah.
How do you think it is that she's been able to just continue to evolve her game and get better and better while she's at that like sweet point where maybe you're on the back end of your career?
Yeah.
She seems like she's playing better than ever.
Yeah, I mean, I think the prime of your career has maybe changed with health and performance and how much stuff that you've done. I mean, 20, 15 years ago, when it kind of came into professional basketball, it was like 26, 27 to 32 or 33. And now you're seeing players play longer. I think just physically, she's done a great job of being in shape, and then just her mind, right? There's different levels to how you think, and she's about as high as you can go. And she just sees things that others don't at both ends. And I think that really benefits her. She's talked about it, just a new situation, a new energy, a new fan base, right? And yeah, we're super happy she's here, and she's had a hell of a year.
Power night. Just what does that mean to you personally, as a coach of a WNBA team, and what have you learned from your players and your staff?
Yeah, I think it's a great night. We've got a ton of women that are awesome role models. It's good for the kids and the X factor to recognize that. I'm lucky enough to be around a bunch of great women each and every day. So for me personally, this is a special night.
Tonight's game, it's also like the game where it could drastically shift in the standings when it comes to hosting home court advantage. I'm just curious to know what will the Phoenix Mercury's mindset be now that they clinched a spot in the playoffs and they're fighting for playoff positioning?
Yeah, I mean, really good question. We haven't talked about clinching. We've definitely talked about how important this game is, just like I'm sure they've talked about how important this game is when it comes to the home court. So, you know, I would expect to see both teams at their best, and it's going to be a high level game. We're really excited to get out there and compete.
Like been around a player?
I mean, I was lucky enough to be around Damian Lillard for 8 years. As far as like daily leadership and stuff like that, Dame's is as good as it gets. From a competitive standpoint, wanting to win and everything. Yeah, AT is in a level by herself. When I was a young coach, I was lucky enough to go to a couple Minnesota Timberwolves training camps and saw Kevin Garnett compete, and that was pretty cool. That reminded me a lot of like AT's approach. I didn't get to coach KG, but I saw him for a couple training camps, and that's kind of what I would compare AT to, is just as far as like it didn't matter the drill, offense or defense. She wanted to win, whatever it took. She wanted to win in warmups. He did too, right? And so I think that's just it's part of what makes her special. Yeah, I mean DT's right up there. I think DT, you know, I saw her in her last year of her career. Obviously, I've heard all those stories. You know, DT's is as good as it gets, right? When it comes to her competitive spirit and you know, when you need her most in the biggest moments, she's there, right? And so she led this franchise and for a long time, I think all great players kind of have something that they can lean into, and DT was ultra competitive at the highest nature.
Coach, I did want to ask about your assistants, because we spoke to Megan earlier and she talked about how your experience as an assistant has helped them. I wanted to ask you the same thing. How would you say your experience as an assistant coach in the NBA has sort of helped empower your coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, I loved being an assistant. I slept a lot better. As an assistant, you make suggestions, and as a head coach, you make decisions that affect people's livelihood and if they play or not or stuff like that. But I love being a head coach too. Again, my Portland days, I was lucky enough to work for an awesome guy in Terry Stotts, who had been a longtime assistant. And you know, the thing that I took away from Coach Stotts is, and even Jamal Mosley in Orlando, is, you know, you want to treat people the way that you want to be treated, even as an assistant. So, you know, when we have a coaches meeting at 8:45, it starts at 8:45. I mean, I got a lot of stuff going on, people coming in and out of my office, but I'm going to respect the people that are going to battle with me each and every day. You know, there's a lot of pressure in this job. You know, and obviously I'm up here, I'm out in front of the bench, but like our assistants do a lot of shit that no one sees. And I'm super appreciative of that, you know, this when it comes to the scouts and the preparation and the player development. And you know, there's certain things that I miss about being an assistant because, you know, you get real connections with your players. Obviously, as a head coach, you do too, but they don't always tell you everything that they want to at times. But I'm super lucky to have the staff that I have. I think we're continuing to grow. We're getting more comfortable around each other in this league, and I'm really excited about where we're headed.
Thank
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.